Hi guys, this is gsno.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the realme GT Neo 3 150 watts, which is the charging of the handset. There's also a version with 80 watt charging. I'm lucky enough to have the fast charge one. This is a high mid-range phone which has a familiar CPU and it's supposed to be reminiscent of the days of the racing cars as revealed by its beautiful back design. You possibly remember the realme GT 5G and its supercar aesthetics. Well, this one also channels that. In many ways this is more of a relative to the realme GT2 or GT2 Pro, but at the same time it has a few extras. It's priced at 520 euros. We have the nitro blue version, and at the same time you should know that it has a Dimensity 8100 MediaTek processor, also found on the Poco X4 GT. It's a 6.7 inch phone and it's an unboxing, so let's see what's inside the box as the device boots up. I've already set it up, there's no worry about that, and in this envelope here we are welcomed into the realme family. We get here a key used to access the slots. I'm only talking about dual nano SIMs, there's no micro SD. A quite hefty quick start guide, or better said a manual. And then we have another booklet with some useful information. And then we get to the actual goods. Pardon the plastic thingy here, which served to protect the device initially. Here we have a case which is transparent, a darker transparency and flexible, and has all the required cutouts. A hefty charger, but for good reason. I'm surprised to see an USB-C port. I expected an USB-A for some reason. This is the beast that provides you 150 watt charging, which should be good enough for your laptop or most devices around the house, big ones and the power consuming ones. And a hefty cable which is thick from USB-C to USB-C, and I think we're about done with the accessories. Now we can properly focus on this beautiful phone. If you ask me to name the color, I would say it's a sort of purple. It's actually nitro blue. We have here the version with 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. Now the design, aside from the version we have, it's also black, white, and a Naruto version, believe it or not, focused on gaming. The thickness is 8.2 millimeters and the weight is a reasonable 188 grams. It's actually this finger here. Now we have Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the front side, and we have a plastic frame, just so you know. And the frame actually helps with the grip because it's a bit flat. I find these volume buttons could be quite slim for my liking, but I enjoy the ribbed or ridged version of this power button here. Okay, so the good thing is that the back doesn't smudge or get stained easily. Aside from that, I think it's time to address the screen. 6.7 inch AMOLED panel, Full HD Plus resolution, Gorilla Glass 5 and 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR10 Plus, and it shows 1 billion colors. It's pretty much, I would say, good enough for a flagship without a problem. Now, it's a comfy phone. As I'm wielding it, I'm feeling that more and more, even with a one-hand usage, perhaps thanks to the curved sides of the back. If you want to talk about the CPU, we have to get inside here. No matter what it says here, it's actually the MediaTek Dimensity 8100 5nm octa-core, also found on the Oppo Reno 8 Pro, Poco X4 GT and the Honor 70 Pro. There are versions of the device which come with 8 or 12 gigs of RAM. We have 12, LPDDR5, and 256 gigabytes of storage, UFS 3.1, no micro SD. But what we do get, it's the selling point here, the battery with a 4500 mAh capacity and the promise of 150 watts. Check it out. So on paper we're supposed to reach 50% charge in just 5 minutes, which is pretty crazy, and the full charge should take place in about 15 minutes or 17 or something like it. I'm actually willing to offer you a spoiler. I've actually tested the charging from 0 to 100. It took me 19 minutes. We have a dual nano SIM setup. We have stereo speakers. One speaker is at the top and one speaker is at the bottom. There's an USB-C 2.0 port here. There's a microphone and the SIM tray. We have a fingerprint scanner in the screen, which you just saw earlier. Okay, and let's see what else. We don't have an audio jack, as you can see for yourself. But on the connectivity side of things, there's 5G and Wi-Fi 6. Also, check it out, Bluetooth 5.3, not 5.2, thanks to the CPU. GPS, GLONASS, BDS, Galileo and QZSS. Also NFC with an interesting integration. There's 360-degree NFC, so when you're paying with the phone, you're no longer forced to only approach one area, the device, to the POS. It's NFC all around. Now, as far as the camera is concerned, you can see the cutout here, the punch hole for the 16 megapixel front camera. And if you go to the back side, this camera module reminds me of the Realme GT2 quite a bit. It includes a 50 megapixel camera, main one, with optical image stabilization, this big fellow here, with face detection, autofocus and f1.9 aperture. And at the same time, it also includes a 8 megapixel ultra wide camera here at the bottom and 2 megapixel macro camera. This is the dual LED dual tone flash, and we get 4K 60 frames per second video capture as well, plus a few other options. So these are the extra options. We have ultra macro, time lapse, tilt shift, panorama, slow-mo, text scanner, pro, movie and dual view. You can take full resolution shots, 50 megapixel. There's a portrait mode. And if you look closely here, we should also have the famous bokeh flare, which blurs the background and makes the lights look a bit more dramatic or romantic. We have here the AI scene enhancement. This is the video section where we can confirm that we have 4K video and also AI highlight video. Some of these features you saw on the Oppo Reno phones. This is the street mode where you can choose your lens and a variety of pretty cool urban filters. Then we have the night mode with its very own extra filters. That's about it camera wise. Of course, there's more to discover here. And for those of you wondering about the software, this baby runs on Android 12. I keep mistaking the button here. It's Android 12 with Realme UI 3.0. Having seen this before, I know exactly what it brings, which is RAM expansion by up to 7 gigabytes, as well as a lot of customization. You can see it here in the icon section, but there's more: wallpapers, widgets, layout, transitions, and even more here. There's a sidebar here to help with your multitasking, triggering floating windows, aside from those already triggered with a split screen and recent multitasking department. And there are more extras here. For example, you have Dolby Atmos for acoustics, so you have a special kids space. And if you dig really deep into the settings, you'll see the Realme Lab area where you can check out the heart measurement. Courtesy of the fingerprint scanner, you can take your pulse. Okay, that's about it. And you can also input a profile and save it and create a history. Now, as far as the device is concerned, I'm also pretty sure that we have some special cooling on board, so gamers will be happy with it. So basically, it's a gaming phone. It's a high mid-range gaming phone with a price which is not bad. It's part of that newfangled segment of high mid-range gaming phones with a beautiful supercar aesthetic. It's very comfy to use, that much I can give it. And at the same time, it has a pretty impressive CPU, a lot of RAM and a battery, which is right now a record holder for fast charging from everything I have tested so far. Okay, so that's it from us. A good first impression. Very curious about the gaming experience, about the cooling, about the speakers, and of course the camera and its optical image stabilization. That's about it from us. We'll be back with more soon. Goodbye.